Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly reading. And I sort of cheated a little bit because I shuffled two tarot decks and two oracle decks. And both of the tarot decks ended up with the moon. Well, not the moon directly on the bottom. This first tarot deck ended up with the moon directly on the bottom. So I'll talk about what I think that means. Um, but then when I shuffled the second tarot deck, which is this one, on the bottom we got death. And then the next card was also the moon. So then I felt that it had something to do with the Scorpio moon, the next Scorpio moon, in part. Like it had to do with a few things, but one of the things that came to me was that it was tied to the Scorpio moon. So I had to Google real quick to see when the moon was going to be in Scorpio next. And sure enough, it is this week. Also, it's 11:11 p.m. when I'm recording this reading. I just looked down at the clock. Um, so I looked into it. On the 25th, that night, the moon leaves Libra and enters Scorpio. And then it's also like in Scorpio, so it's fully in Scorpio on the 26th and 27th, but for a short time beginning on the 25th. So I'm like, okay, now I got to see what the 25th is. And I looked up the 25th, and Pluto, Scorpio's ruler, is in a square with the true node, which will now be Aries. And so that Aries is ruled by Mars, which is also Scorpio's ruler, Scorpio's esoteric or ancient ruler. So I was like, well, this has to mean something too. And I felt that it meant something good, but I wasn't sure because I'm not an astrologer. I'm just an intuitive and an empath and, psychic in that way. So things come to me and sometimes I have to like look into them to see what the hell it means because, well, anyway, that's what I did. I looked into it further to see what the hell it means. And so, I Googled the astrology for July 25th. Yes? Yes. Which I also realized was another 777, right? So July 7 for July, then 25 is 7, and then 2023 is 7. So maybe another lucky day in general. Um, the sun will have entered Leo. In fact, it enters Leo today. So, Leo season will be in complete full effect as of tomorrow. Today's the 22nd. Um, I my clock just changed from 11:11. Felt like a couple seconds ago when I first started talking to you guys. As a matter of fact, the other clock, the timer says now 2 minutes and 59 seconds. So I haven't been on with you for 8 minutes, but now the clock on the bottom of my computer says it's 11:19 p.m. So I don't know what's happening there. But anywho, where was I? Um, 777. So maybe a lucky day in general. But also, when I looked up the astrology for that day, um, whatever site it was, said that it was going to be a really good day to talk to friends, family, those types of connections via Zoom, WhatsApp, maybe FaceTime, something like that. And it was also a really good time to spend time with a neighbor, to take a short distance trip. So maybe you drive somewhere for, a couple hours away. Like if I went to the South Shore or something like on Jersey or in Jersey or, somewhere in the tri-state or whatever. And what was the other thing? There was something. So the camera shut off. But as I was saying to you, it's also supposed to be a good time for marketing, advertising, um, I don't know, stuff along those lines. Okay. So what was the other thing? Oh, all right. So then I looked up to see if there was any transits on the 26th and 27th. I didn't see any, but I did notice there was another transit on the 25th, and it's the one that started this whole thing. It's the Scorpio moon, but it's not just that it's the Scorpio moon, it's the first quarter moon um, of the moon cycle. So I think that means something. There was something having to do with the distance that I think there was another 7 in there having to do with the placement of the moon. And there was one other thing. Oh, the time. It occurs at 6:07 p.m., which is 13:04 or 11:11. Maybe that's why my clock was at 11:11 now. Now it's at 11:22. Um, and 101, like a minute and 1 second when I had to start the camera over because it shut itself off before. Um, was that it? All right, that might have been it for the astrology. Perhaps. If anything else comes to me, I'll say that too. Now, with the cards, death, of course, in the tarot, tends not to have anything to do with real death. Um, I will say I have had it happen that it is connected to actual death, but even for me, very, very rarely. Um, However, I did get something today, not that anybody in particular was going to pass away, thankfully, but that if they did, if somebody that you knew or I guess became aware of um, somehow in your surroundings, not necessarily immediately connected to you, passed away, that it was likely going to be from something having to do either with what Libra controls, so like the kidney, skin, um, I don't remember all the things. I don't remember all the things. It was like kidney, skin, ureter, ureter, I think it was called. And then um if it rolls into Scorpio, if the moon is already rolled into Scorpio, so if it happens like on the 27th or the 26th or the 27th when the moon is fully in Scorpio, then something having to do with genitals, urethra, bladder. Maybe that's it because that's all I remember. I mean, I could picture the list of things um, that had come up that I had seen, and I was like, oh, I was made to look up so much stuff like in a matter of seconds. But since those are the only ones that are coming to mind, maybe those are the only ones that are relative. And again, I don't think this is going to be happening widespread. I didn't get any messages about death, but I got something could happen to somebody in connection to, and maybe you know, maybe it doesn't have to have anything to do with death. Period. Um, but it could be maybe you could find out that maybe it's discovered that somebody has a problem in one of these areas, and so because it's dealt with, it's the end of that. Um, because this wouldn't, if it was an actual death, even, or if it's not, if it's something else, if it's metaphorical, if it's just the regular energy of death that we're dealing with, a transition, a transformation, an ending in some area of our life, some aspect of our life, the energy of death, the tarot card, this tends not to be like completely unanticipated. Like it's like a long time coming. This ending, this change, this transformation, like you knew was going to have to happen. It's been coming, it's been coming, it's been coming, and now it's here. All right. That said, let's get to these moons. So death, as we've gone over at length now, represents the energy of Scorpio. Taking that card off the deck, the next card is the moon. The next card is the moon with the other deck. Both of these cards have a person. Um, so in this case, it's in the water. In this case, near the water. In both cases, the water is calm. So nothing to be afraid of. Calm emotions. In both cases, there are mountains in the picture in the distance, so there may be some obstacles for us all. In this one, there's a path. In this one, there's both a new moon and a full moon. This one, there's a full moon and two wolves. Um, so in addition to the obvious, where when the moon shows up, your intuition is very, very strong. There are definitely some unknowns. In the deck where the death card also appears and there's an ending, the next card is the Three of Pentacles upright. So there could be an ending having to do with like an inability to earn um, money or to generate abundance, because the Three of Pentacles is about a direct correlation to the effort that you put into something, you being compensated for that. It can also, of course, have to do with some sort of party of three. If that is the case, there is something coming to an end that, again, is a long time coming, having to do with that party of three, but you may not be aware that it's happening now. It's happening this week. When you learn that it's occurred, it shouldn't be a complete shock because, again, the death was on its way. But you may not realize that something's going down this week. In this other deck, now, oh wait, so the next card in this deck is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is another card that has water and mountains in the background, as well as both a full and new moon. And in this card, at least my belief, is that the person is walking toward the Nine of Cups, which is their wish fulfillment, the star, wish fulfillment, dreams coming true, goals, and all that stuff. And, because the Nine of Cups is the next card. So they're walking toward their dreams, that goes where they want to be, and away from something that doesn't serve them. So that something that doesn't serve them may be connected to a Queen of Wands, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, because that's the next card. In this other deck, speaking of the Nine of Cups, the next card, well, the immediate next card is the Hangman in reverse. So this guy has hung upside down so long that he's had an epiphany. He's figured something out. He's made some sort of decision. He's, he has a new perspective and maybe an understanding of what he needs to do next. So he probably hasn't been doing much of anything. He's been in limbo, like an air of suspension, and now he's like, aha, I know what has to happen next. And it's a move toward the Nine of Cups, just like in the other deck with the Eight of Cups. Wish fulfillment, dreams coming true, prayers being answered, right? Wishes being granted. Those wishes, prayers, answers may have something to do with a high priestess. This could be an older woman that perhaps he's involved with romantically, that perhaps he's in separation from, and she may have walked away from him this time. I'm saying this time. I feel like they're connected. He's got, is this a phone? It looks like he has his phone near his hand, but just like thrown in his bed. He's probably been picking it up and, looking at it to see if she's called or something. Now, when I say older woman, she may actually be older than him, or she may just be like a mature woman. And perhaps he is too, a mature, an older man or masculine, not necessarily man. But I'm getting the separation. If they're in separation, she probably can feel that he wants to come back, right? Nine of Cups. What he wants to come back and do is enter some sort of commitment. The next level of whatever commitment would be for you. So if you've never dated before, maybe you start dating. If you're already dating, maybe you go to the next level, whatever that is for you. Move in together, get engaged, whatever. Hierophant. And this is a scenario where he, feels this could be like the real deal. With the Two of Wands showing up, this is the twin flame card or soulmate card of the tarot. And this person, see, I said coming back. I guess I was feeling that it could be an ex Look at the X in the back of this picture. So that could be who's returning to some. If that is the case, it seems that you put some boundaries up, you set some rules, right? You said, this is the way I demand to be treated. This is why I'm walking away because you're not treating me that way. And with the Seven of Wands, which is the next card, upright, showing up, you're going to want to keep those boundaries up when they return, not just drop them because they come back. So you're going to need to decide. High Priestess can be about making a decision also. You're going to need to decide, do I welcome this person back? And if I do, they need to understand that this is what I expect, this is what I require, this is what I demand, however you want to put it, in order for this thing to move forward. High Priestess, to make her decision, is going to use that moon energy, right? The increased psychic abilities and awareness that she comes into. She's going to use her wisdom. Remember, she's older and wiser. Um, she's got like street smarts, common sense, and she's going to use all that. Okay. All that said, I'm going to begin this week because I did not do a moon reading the other day when we had experienced the new moon in Cancer, and it was like one that I wanted to talk about. But that week, when I had done the general reading, general slash love, the weekly reading, um, I had first recorded a full reading, and then you, the sound wasn't good. So I re-recorded and I posted, a second video. Then somebody called me and said, or not called me, messaged me on Instagram and said the sound, for them at least, wasn't all that great on the second video that I had recorded either. So I don't know, between that and some other things that like were coming up, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna bother to do um a moon reading. So because I didn't do one, I'm gonna begin now a spread from the masculine perspective because I would have done that in the moon reading. By the way, I don't know why I'm so shiny. I don't know. I'm using the Modern Love Tarot for this. And the first card out, so I guess representing the feminine, is that Hangman in reverse. It just came flying out. So maybe it's the hangman. I mean, it's the hangman. Maybe it's the feminine who's had an epiphany, who's had a change of heart, a change of mind, received some sort of insight, got a new perspective, decided to get moving. The bottom of the deck now we have the star. Hangman represents the sign of Pisces. Star represents the sign of Aquarius. So now I'm looking for a card for the masculine as it relates to this feminine here. And the Eight of Cups in reverse. So that's how it came out before, too, in the other deck. Now, this one, this Eight of Cups in reverse, is a moving truck. So someone is like really leaving a situation, and we see some cups are knocked over. There's two cups standing up over here, though. So I think that that's toward what this person is moving. There's one cup back here by itself, like an Ace of Cups. One cup here, one cup over. So the masculine could have had a revelation too, an epiphany about needing to go toward the feminine because he's had a realization that that's where the Nine of Cups is. So I got to leave this situation here. I'm gonna pack up my truck and go that way. All right, the masculine as it relates to himself. Queen of Wands. Did I just see the Queen of Wands? I don't know what I said about her, but here she is again. And this Queen of Wands, this masculine, um, he may be into a little spell work and stuff. This Queen of Wands has a black cat tattooed on her leg. She's got flowers. Um, oh, she's got a lion on her chest. This Queen of Wands is identifying as a Leo, or maybe marking the time of Leo season, which is where I started talking about. Timing again of something occurring, maybe having to do with a fire sign. Could be on the 20, specifically on the 25th of this month. When the sun is in Leo, the moon is leaving Libra, entering Scorpio, and um, Pluto is square the true node, and then the first quarter moon in Scorpio occurs. All those things happening together seems bring about something positive. Maybe that communication via WhatsApp or FaceTime or whatever. Maybe it's not just with a relative or friend. Maybe it's with a mate, or maybe it is with a relative or friend. Maybe that's in your life. That's what's required. The bottom of the deck now we have the Queen of Swords in reverse, followed by Death, also in reverse. Here's the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Here's Death, Scorpio. Now again, this Death is in reverse, so it could be that somebody is trying to avoid an ending, or there is an ending. It's not like a final ending. There's an ending in a situation. It's not like a final ending, or it's like an end of chapter, but not the book. You know what I mean? All right, the masculine's higher self sentiments with regard to the union or connection as a whole. For some, it's a connection you might not have even met. It's an energy, or you might be in separation, like I said. Ace of Swords just flipped over but didn't come out. There's one that came out. And it's the Hermit. So this week, the masculine, he's holding like a literal torch for the connection, for the union, in the form of his lantern, which is lit up by the star. In this deck, I can kind of actually see the shape of the star. I don't know if you can, though. Do you see the lanterns lit up? Now, the other thing that's true about the Hermit as it relates to love, traditional tarot, is that when the Hermit shows up in a love placement, um, it's almost always having to do with like reigniting a connection from the past. So possibly one's ex, like we saw in the Two of Wands card. Whatever it is, it's um, going toward or using the light of the star, right? Using the using our dreams, our goals as a focus and a focal point, or that and or using the lantern to illuminate something having to do with whoever or whatever the object of our affection is. Like whatever is represented by the star for us, whatever our dream come true, our wish fulfillment is, we're checking in on that thing, even though we may have withdrawn from like general public and stuff. We're sort of like in isolation, keeping to ourselves, separation, from the connection. We're still looking in. We're using the light of the star, the light of our lantern, to look in on whatever our dream come true is, whatever our wish fulfillment, the object of our wish fulfillment is. Overall, so overall energy, Four of Wands in reverse. So the Four of Wands is one of those cards that whether it's upright or reverse, um, in most placements, it tends, the next card, the card behind it is the Star, also in reverse. So both of these cards can be about something unexpected happening that makes us happy, joyous but unexpected. And the Four of Wands, I was starting to say, pretty much is, the same thing, whether it's upright or in reverse. In reverse, it can, whatever this joy is, it's like good things are happening, but in order for them to keep them happening, there's work that we need to continue to do. Like we got to keep spinning the plates. If we stop moving our finger, the plate's going to fall. So as long as we keep doing it. So this is about like you can maintain joy, but it's going to take some work. You can maintain partnership, you can maintain union, but it's going to take some work, effort. And here's the Queen of Swords again. She just fell out in reverse still. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Star followed by Justice upright. And in Justice upright, we have a couple that looks like they're in therapy or something. So they may be trying to figure out how to keep the plate spinning. What can we do to keep this thing on track now that we've found it, or once we find it? What energy the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection if it were up to him? Hmm. So one fell out completely, and one flipped over and sat on the top of the deck. The one that fell out completely is the Tower in reverse. And I really feel like what he is saying here with this Tower in reverse is that he would have her like put everything back together, like make it like it was. There's a song like that, Make It Like It Was. It was easier for me. Um, Regina Bell, I think, sings that song. The card that flipped over and just sat at the top of the deck, the King of Pentacles. So he may be who is representing the masculine here. And that doesn't mean he has to be an actual earth sign, although he very well may be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, maybe most directly Taurus, even though the card for me is more tied to, um, in general, the King of Pentacles tends to be more tied to um, Capricorn for me. This could be, this could certainly be, um, it's Taurus, very strong Taurus coming through because, the chair has a cow as the back. This guy could be somebody who is very good with his hands, who is creative, who is, like some sort of laborer, works in a factory or in manufacturing or, in metalwork or works with knives. Maybe he's a butcher or some kind of steel worker, metal worker, construction. Whatever he is, he's got a heart cut out here and sitting on his table. He's in love and he wants to provide. He wants to give you the finer things. He's working hard so that he can provide. And he wants you to see that. He wants you to acknowledge him. Again, maybe you're the one that walked away from him, High Priestess. And he just wants you to put things back how they were. As if you could do that by yourself, because it definitely takes two to tango on that. We cannot do it by ourselves. But what is he willing to do? What's he coming with? Let's see. What are you ready to offer, Mr. King of Pentacles? So one card is sticking up here. Didn't fall all the way out though. One fell all the way out. The one that was sticking up is the Four of Pentacles. The bottom of the deck, we have the King of Wands. And the card that fell out is the Five of Cups in reverse. So what he's willing to, or what he's coming with right now, is a desire to correct, like where you were disappointed, like to make it right. So he too kind of like wants to make it like it was, or to fix things. He wants to remove like doubt and pessimism from you. Like maybe you don't even trust him anymore now because of the letdowns and things from the past. So we do have also showing up in this spread, a divine partnership, divine union, because the Queen of Wands is already on the table, and now here's the King of Wands. So the guy, again, whatever sign he is, this one has a heart shape on his belt, but he may be, very muscular, maybe very good looking, maybe kind of eclectic, maybe, bisexual or poly or something. May have tattoos. He wants to give you his wand, whatever he's into, however he looks and whatever he's into, he wants to give you his wand. And there is a divine partnership here. I'm just noticing the Queen of Wands is in the gym. So you may be, and she's also tatted, to give you another description of who this person might be and, whether or not this part of the spread or reading, how it impacts you, if at all, right? Resonates with you. What the universe or God would have both archetypes, both masculine and feminine, do to have this union work out, and wants to help us with, right? The universe or God wants to help us to get this part right. Whoa, hang on. It's the world. This is not the time to start playing with the lighting, y'all. The world. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Party of three. There's the Scorpio energy showing up again, too. See the Scorpio symbol? Here's Taurus. What's this? Leo. So it's the fixed signs. Aquarius. Those are a lot of the same signs that we saw, right? The Queen of Wands has the Leo, the lion on her chest. We saw the star, Aquarius. We saw the King of Pentacles with the cow, the Taurus. Um, and the Scorpio. We saw death twice. So something going on with the fixed signs in particular too. But what the universe wants to help us with is the Knight of Swords. So coming in with clarity, decisiveness, knowing what we want, making a solid decision, claiming it, rushing in, not confused at all. So having moved beyond that um, moon energy, which can be about confusion, maybe because again we used our high priestess energy, our wisdom, our psychic awareness, our common sense, our street smarts, and we figured something out and made a decision. And it is about that partnership with that ex. So the universe wants to help us to bring this back together, to fix it and get it back on the right track. That would probably mean something about ending a party of three with the world on the bottom of the deck. Major Arcana card 21 equals 3. And perhaps that's why um, there's more than one king here. Maybe they're not the same person. Maybe they represent the same energy. The King of Wands and the King of Pentacles. Maybe that's why we saw more than one queen. The Queen of Swords was in reverse. The Queen of Wands is upright here. And we do have the High Priestess, which is elevated beyond the queens. It can apply to different people different ways. Right, so that is a love spread. from the perspective of the divine masculine, with at the end, again, how the universe wants to help us, which I think is the most important part right now. Universe trying to guide us toward getting back on track, helping us to be decisive and come in saying what we mean, meaning what we say, and moving forward. Wonderful. So now I'm going to do another spread, the usual spread for the week, beginning with, ooh, the card that most directly represents us this week, and it's the Five of Swords. So conflict, or of us being conflicted, again, maybe needing to make a decision. Two swords up. The Two of Swords is representative of a decision that we have to make. Death in the bottom of the deck again. Surrounding energy. Whoa. I just saw the King of Cups too. Is the Knight of Pentacles. So something or someone that's been coming in slowly, or maybe some, a money situation, a financial situation that's been slowly improving, continues to slowly improve. Slow and steady wins the race, though, as they say. Knight of Pentacles, of course, more this earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, all right. There you go. Work and finance, Ten of Cups. So something is working out well. Might have to do with some money connected to family, connected to maybe an inheritance. It may be actual money. It could be property or something, some other asset that comes in this week with the Ten of Cups, or both. And maybe if it is like an inheritance, maybe that's been coming for a long time. Maybe there was even conflict over it, whether it's family members fighting or, other people fighting, like in court or something, probate, surrogate court, family court. But now, like that is divorce court. Maybe that's finishing and things are going to be working out this week. We have a Knight of Swords. This is a totally different deck that I'm using now. Knight of Swords upright again. Bottom of the deck now. Next card is Love and Relationship. Okay. Not all that exciting, but it's not bad either. Four of Swords. So this could be about a decision also, or about coming out of separation, healing from some sort of party of three situation or other form of heartache, right? Healing from the Three of Swords. So heartache, loss, separation, moving beyond that. Four of Swords for me sometimes too is about planning a trip. So maybe it's connected to that energy of um, the moon in Scorpio, the short term travel for July 25th. Just saw the Ten of Pentacles. That's positive also. Physical health. Okay. Two cards fell out. I don't know if I should use both. One is face down, one is face up. The one that's face down is the Page of Swords in reverse. The one that's face up is the King of Pentacles again, but also in reverse this time. With the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Last but not least, spiritual health. Queen of Swords, upright. So, a couple signs here. Again, with the Knight of Pentacles, we have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Same thing goes for the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And then with the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. With this Five of Swords, um, that's our overall focus, or the primary energy that represents us this week. In addition to, us potentially being conflicted about something, needing to make a decision, or actually experiencing some sort of conflict. And when we do experience conflict, it tends to be like with potentially even a stranger. Like for me, the Five of Wands, for example, if it's not about a person being conflicted or something going on at work, um, competition or whatever, then it tends to be a conflict with like close friends and or family, including like, exes and stuff, the your child's other parent and all that kind of stuff. But the Five of Swords could be like some random stranger stepped on your Nikes and now you're pissed. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be just some kind of conflict that could be coming out of anywhere. People having attitudes or stuff like that, or you having an attitude and maybe not knowing why and needing to deal with something. In addition to that, can be about somebody that we care about going away for a while, whatever that means. So whether it means we're in separation, they're going to remain in separation a little while longer while they handle details of their life, and while we handle details of our life, and maybe deal with those mountains we saw in the background of a couple of the cards, obstacles that were preventing people from coming together, maybe immediately. Um, that could be the case. There's When I say like going away, I think of jail though. Um, so somebody it may be a very short stint in jail also. Somebody may get arrested or something like that, that you care about. Of course, I don't wish that on anybody. Um, yeah, that's what I got. I'm sorry. So, the next card in our surrounding energy is the Knight of Pentacles, and they don't actually go to jail. They could feel like somebody could feel stuck in a situation or be stuck in a situation because if you feel stuck, like you are what you think you are, right? So if you think you're stuck, and like you don't feel like you don't have any options, you don't have any options. So they could be in some sort of situation that they like feel trapped in, um, for I think it's a short time. Anyways, so the surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers, something going on at your job, something like that. Again, is the Knight of Pentacles. So in addition to what I already said about the Knight of Pentacles, this is also an energy that helps us and I guess those around us in those placements, our surrounding energy to feel more grounded. Um, I think, especially based on the card that it sits next to in the placement of work and finance, Ten of Cups, money is not a problem this week. Or maybe some way you're working very hard. And in the cases where you're working very hard, you do want to make sure, and that goes for both of these cards, Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, you do want to make sure your money's working as hard for you as you are for it. There's also, a need to be generous and share the wealth to the extent that you feel, comfortable doing that. Of course, don't give anybody anything that you need yourself. Don't give anybody your rent money or whatever. Just see something about possibly buying a car, um, which may be random because it's not like the chariot or anything is here. But I am getting something about buying a car. Again, the Four of Swords and the placement of love and relationship can potentially be about planning a trip for me. So maybe that's part of the short-term travel. Maybe if you're not buying a car, you're renting a car, or you're buying, some sort of transportation ticket this week. Um, and this can be also about, maybe some an earth sign or somebody earth sign like, very, very grounded, very hardworking, potentially, wanting to make you some sort of offer. And maybe that's about what you're conflicted. Maybe they're offering you a job, maybe they're offering you a relationship, and that's why you're conflicted. Like, I got to think about this. I got to make a decision. I got to figure this out. I don't know. You know, um, Possibly because they're an ex, and you're like, do I want to deal with this again? You know what? I just at the bottom of the deck we have the Three of Cups. I don't know if I mentioned that before. The Three of Cups is a card. It's a positive card. It's a card of celebration. It too can be tied to parties of three. All the threes can, but behind it is the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is often about like an apology. So this can be, again, somebody returning to you. We had the King of Pentacles in the last spread, King of Pentacles showing up again here. It may be an actual earth sign. Again, somebody earth sign like provider type, maybe mature person, hard worker, um, family man type, um, coming, making an apology, wanting to fix something with you. The next card is the Ten of Swords in reverse. Ten of Swords would be about betrayal, again, heartbreak. So maybe this person wronged you in some way, and again, they're coming back now. You have your guard up. You have those boundaries up now. Um, that's why you're conflicted. But they do want to, you know, communicate something to you. They do want to move forward somehow. They may own a motorcycle, or, maybe previously owned a motorcycle or like a motorbike or something. Or this could be how they travel short distance. The next card is the King of Cups. The next card is the Page of Cups. So it does look like this person is genuine in their feelings and intentions towards you. But again, you may not trust it because of heartbreak that or betrayal that occurred previously. So it looks like they do want to come in with an apology about that and then make you some sort of offer. Um, so, and if it's not romantic, again, it's from one of those other close seventh house type relationships that I mentioned. The next card is the Ten of Cups in the placement of work and finance. And in work, like your job, I mean, no job is fully secure and safe, but your employer, or if you own your own company, like whatever, you're seen as pretty indispensable. And again, money is likely to not at all be a problem. But you want to make sure that it's working for you as hard as you're working for it, and that you are being generous to the extent that you are able. So let's get into the Four of Swords. Now, the Four of Swords, just flat out, can be about the need for a break too. And with the Five of Swords, again, possibility of someone you care about being away from you for a while. Um, for some of us, there could be, somebody taking a break rather than, returning this week. I just got that somebody maybe working really, really hard, and that could be why they need a break. They're like over exerting themselves. So that may be why your mate needs a break. If you, let's say you live together, you're married, whatever already, and you're like, how can my mate need a break from me? But they may just be feeling like sort of disconnected from you, or you may be feeling disconnected from them. And again, it might be because of work or something. With the Knight of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, this King of Pentacles in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse. Um, and the money is fine because they have been working hard, or you have been working hard. I think it's the masculine though. So that's why the money's fine. I mean, this spread is for everybody, but in terms of overexerting themselves, I think it's the masculine. It's the King of Pentacles, but I mean, I guess it could be anything, anybody. Um, but the Ten of Cups is there in the placement of work and finance because the money's fine, but the person's like just energy is spent. It's too much, and like we all need a break. We all need to sit our butts down sometimes. I was talking to somebody about this today because she said to me that she had thought about me because she was like, sort of worried. She's like, you're always going, 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 and doing stuff for other people. Like, do you ever just do nothing? And I said, rarely, but yes. But I usually am just going, 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 and that's what this person's doing. But it's like catching up. So they need a break. Um, I'm also somebody could get hurt at work too, and maybe that's where the knives come in. We got the Five of Swords, the Four of Swords. We saw the King of Pentacles that was working here. There was all those knives in the picture. Or somebody could um like have an accident or need some sort of surgery, possibly even like emergency, unexpected surgery or something this week. And then that will be while they're away from you. They're in the hospital, they're healing. We did have death in reverse. So, like, not, like I said, the death card usually does not mean death anyway, but also the fact that it was in reverse when I went through that second time in relation to the love spread and this, the love placement. It was in reverse. So I think like there could be something that somebody is hurt or something, but um, they're going to be okay. But there's a healing period. So that's what the Four of Swords is about too. Um, Other than that, again, this person just could just be feeling sort of disconnected from you, maybe you from them, and you guys need to talk. There needs to be conversation. We need to communicate to our partner. I just need some time to myself, or I need you to do this for me. I need, or whatever. I need us to do this together. Okay. Maybe that'll include like being social, getting out, having some fun instead of working with the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So moving on to physical health. This sort of goes along with it because the King of Pentacles, um, the Page of Swords in reverse can be an indication again of just like working really, really hard, too much so, too much where it's not healthy and needing a break. The King of Pentacles in reverse can be somebody who's like beating themselves up, like they're never satisfied. They never do enough work, they never make enough money. And Capricorns and Virgos, especially, can be that way. Um, Capricorns are like the workhorse of the zodiac, so they're like work, 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 work. Um, and so maybe that's like it's never enough. They always got to do more work, 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 work. And Virgos have this they have this need to be perfect. There's a perfectionist trait for them, so they often keep moving the goalpost away from themselves. They don't realize when they've succeeded, when they're successful, when they've done enough, you know. And so this could be like feeling like a failure or feeling like you have not been successful at everything, feeling overwhelmed, and how you can help your physical health is basically by sitting your ass down, taking a break, um, realizing that you have done enough, realizing that you're a king of pentacles. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? You've done plenty. And if you get some rest and heal your body, you'll, live another day to do some more. But if we don't take a break sometimes, we expend ourselves. So last but not least, we have the Queen of Swords in the placement of spiritual health. And, um, the Queen of Swords is somebody who is a thinker also, sort of like the Virgo, similar to the King of Pentacles and the Virgo, because we're both ruled by Mercury. So there's a lot of thinking. If you're a Gemini, Aquarians also just always thinking, how can I save the world? What can I do to be a humanitarian? And so that's where their mind is. Not much emotion, not much feeling. And so the Queen of Swords shows up in the placement of spirituality to remind us that the pathway to spirituality or a healthy spiritual life is feeling, not thinking. And so we too need to take a break, stop for a moment to feel. It's a good time to like keep a dream journal, things that you're dreaming about, writing them down so that you can, read through them, see what we're feeling about the things that we dreamed about, not just taking them like, in a literal sense, but what can this mean for me emotionally? And, just taking time to tap into our emotional selves, maybe our more feminine selves. That could be another reason why we had two moons show up. The moon is a very feminine energy. Um, Swords can be, for me, like just very masculine, you know. the Queen of Swords, who's most directly in Aquarius, she's super independent. She's just so she's like leans into that masculine if she has to, and then she leans into the feminine sometimes too. But um, this is really guiding her to saying if you want to heal your spiritual life or you want to have the healthiest possible spiritual life, you're gonna have to feel this. Stop thinking. So that's what we got here, and um, I hope you find it helpful, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. I'll pull, I don't know, three other cards that are just for, whoa, Devil in reverse. So breaking free from something. Also, it's like additional advice cards. Tower in reverse, yet again. Crisis averted, something happening suddenly, unexpectedly. Um, hmm, I just saw something about actual fire. I don't think it has to do with anybody in particular. It's like watching the reading, but I think like something could go on maybe in your town, the country, in the world. Uh, Maybe something weather related. I don't know what that is. But in any case, the tower's in reverse, so it's like a crisis. Something happens again. Maybe it comes in suddenly, unexpectedly. It's not something that is going to completely change the course of your life, um, which the tower upright can do. You know, it may be whatever leads to this devil in reverse. You could have some sort of revelation and realize you need to get up away from something or someone. Break free. Maybe move house. Tower can be about a house, actual structure. So maybe you realize, I can't live with you anymore, or I can't live, yeah, be in this um, living situation or condition anymore. I got to get out. I got to move out, and maybe that's kind of suddenly. One more. I do think it's interesting that I've said I was only pulling three cards, and the first two are both major arcana. One more. Two of Pentacles in reverse. A choice between two people, two things, maybe work versus relationship. Again, somebody's working far too hard. But there is a choice that is made. And Five of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So where we had been feeling lack or even possibly experiencing actual lack in terms of money and finances, that is over. Things are definitely looking up. Um, and, are going for the moving forward for the better this week. So that's what I have for you. Hopefully that you have enjoyed it and that you find it helpful in navigating your week. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. Namaste.